Hi, welcome to Looking Through the Glass. We appreciate you being here as always. You guys are awesome. We have Giselle, of course, my co host, co creator, Looking Through the Glass. And today we have Justin Shaw. He has written a book, and I have only read 3 pages of this book, and I have already been so moved. I'm in tears. I've been fighting tears. So y'all need to listen up. Turn up that radio, turn it up and listen up because this is going to be a very good episode for you guys. Justin,
Hello.
let's start. Take it off from the name of your book and where it can be found, and let's just dive right into it.
Yeah, so the name of the book is Sorcery 101, and it's important to understand that it is misspelled for a particular reason. You can leave your hooded robes and Harry Potter wands in the closet for now. It's not about that kind of sorcery. I'd love to learn how to move things with my mind. I think it is possible, but I'm not there yet. But this kind of sorcery, spelled with a U, is real magic, and it's very easily doable. So source, as in source energy with a U. So it is the field of energy that surrounds us at all times. It's where we came from. It's where we're going to. It's here. It's everywhere. It is. It's very hard to explain. I like to say explaining source energy to people is like explaining water to a fish. So like it's very difficult to
We know
explain.
it's there, like, but we don't acknowledge it.
Right,
And
right, yeah, yeah.
we decide, okay, as a person I've always felt source. I've always been connected to source, but source is your nature. Source is to me anyways, is nature. It is
Hmm.
anything, that, because nature is magical to me. Like there is no mess up in there. You know what I mean? Like it is
Hmm.
so designed, our lives, our life experiences. To me, it's all by, there's no, we're here purposefully, with purpose and on purpose. Like we have, you know, I don't know how to explain it quite, but yeah, source to me is like the energy that we have all around us that we can all feel as a collective, and that also what we all connects us.
Hmm. Yeah,
That's
and
my
the best, and another great way to describe it is, I'd say in the book that the source is the force. Star Wars does the best job at
yeah.
explaining what source is. It is the force. It is this field of energy that is comprised of all living elements and creatures, and it surrounds us and it binds the universe together. That is the best explanation of what it is. I've never heard a better explanation because I've been
Yeah, that
hit
is.
hit with kind of the gnosis, and it's like, oh, okay, I know what this is, and then it's like, oh, it's the force. That's what this is. So yeah, it is, and that can be, it's here to be used. And you can manifest an amazing new life. My main focus is healing trauma, because it's been shown that you can manifest an incredible life and all the money you want, and if you're not healed, you end up losing it all. And that's kind of what happens, with all the, that you see it in the Hollywood and all the big elites. They manifest these things without healing themselves, and then they blow it, because they still have this destructive energy inside them, and they, that they go off the rails, and then all the allegations come up, and you just see it all the time. So but that's how fair life is. A lot of people say that's unfair. Those people are jerks and they got everything they wanted. Well, no, it's very fair. It shows that you don't have to be healed, or be. There is really no such thing as good and bad people, but there are people that are healed and unhealed. You don't have to be healed to manifest everything you ever want. But if you want to keep it and enjoy it, it's really important that you heal the trauma first, because it sits in our frontal lobe, which is everything that makes us human. It controls our judgment, impulse control, personality, and trauma will just sit there and just cloud it. And so, you run into people that this is very obvious. There are no stupid people. There are people that, that we think are stupid, but they just have a lot of trauma, and it's just affecting their mind and their judgment. And, there are people that, just simply can't work even menial jobs because they're just so stuck with their trauma. They can't think right. They're nothing, but it's healable. It's all healable. I like to say, it's, the medical community here, Western medical community is amazing. And it has some incredible things
You could
and
talk
some,
very freely on about that one there.
yeah, yeah. It's so, but yeah, right. It has the drawbacks too. So there's a focus. The problem is that the mind, body, spirit is
Hmm.
a trifecta, and it is all one. Feeding one feeds the other. Taking away from one takes away from the other. So without acknowledgement of the spirit, which and really, it's only in the past 15, 20 years that the science has finally said, oh, there is a connection between the mind and body. Because for the longest time,
They
these were
said
held
no, they had
separate.
nothing
There's
to do with each
nothing
other.
to do with anything. And now they're
Mhm.
saying, they're like, oh, okay, all right. So there is a connection. But the spirit is still held out and will remain held out. And there's no way to heal what chronic injuries without bringing the spirit into the equation. There's just no way. Now, doctors are amazing with acute injuries. So like I say, please go see a doctor if you have an acute injury. So if you climb a ladder and you fall off and there's a bone sticking out of your arm, this is not a great time for meditation. Like
Yeah,
it's
right. For those of you that don't have clarity on that.
acupuncture isn't going to do a whole lot in that moment. Like you need a surgeon to go in there, set the bone. But once the bone is set, the doctor's part is done. What makes the body heals the body. So what people don't understand in terms of trauma is you have to know how to set the emotional, spiritual bone and then allow the body to heal itself. Because the whole fallacy of time heals all wounds is garbage. That's not
Garbage.
true.
Absolute garbage.
No, it's not true at all. And so it takes work, and you have to set the emotional, spiritual bone and then let the body heal itself. And that's how you heal chronic illness of all kinds. It could be anxiety, it could be depression, it could be addiction, it could be the more physical ones like autoimmune disorders and stuff like that. Chronic, anything labeled chronic is
Some
healable.
seizure
But
disorders. I have a
they,
seizure
but
disorder that's from unhealed traumas. It part of it's head injury, but along with the traumas, they both combine, and it's absolutely turns into seizures.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Western medicine approach is just to feed you pills forever. So, it's and it wouldn't be that. As I'm not saying it's bad, and maybe like a dual, holistic healing isn't an openness to all forms of healing, and maybe a both and approach is okay. But for me, I just couldn't do it anymore. Just the side effects of the pills were
Yes.
just worse than the condition that I was trying to treat. So
Yep.
I knew that there had to be another way, that like this source that created us, that there's got to be another way that isn't just shoving pills down my throat for the rest of my life and
Chemicals.
having all these nasty side effects. There has to be another way. And and there is. So,
Mhm.
um, it's really cool and exciting to kind of figure out this kind of map or blueprint to help people heal trauma. And that's what sorcery is, the 13 rungs. It's like this crazy thing,
And
this vision that
13
was given
is
to me.
absolutely not a random number, like you
Oh
stated
no.
in the book. It is not a random number. It is not a number of doom, people. Only human stories make numbers a doom thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Those are human manifestation stories. I just want people to understand. But numbers, for me, numerology and stuff like that, is very, 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 very important because there's science behind it, that
Mm-hmm.
there's frequencies and resonate with certain numbers in these things. So, but yeah, numbers are very important.
Yeah, and the number 13 I chose because of that. Like it is known as this unlucky number. I mean, they won't put 13 floors in hotels, like,
Yeah,
and
we're
because
from Las Vegas. We know that.
yeah, it's which is ridiculous because of course there is a 13th floor. It's just the
There
14th
has
floor,
to be.
and it's so crazy that it got to that point. That
Mm-hmm.
people
Right.
won't stay on the 13th floor. I mean, like, what do you think is going to happen? But because 13 is actually a very divine number, it's a feminine number, and it's also in tarot. Most importantly, it's death, rebirth, and transformation, which is what sorcery is all about. So there was
Yes.
a specific reason why I was given 13 rungs. It was like
Mm-hmm.
that number. Immediately, I want people to start this experience that happened to me for this. I call them bliss attacks, and they happen every so often, and they're just the most insane thing I've ever gone through. And this is kind of a map to help other people have their own bliss attacks, complete drug free, insane, intense, hours long of just waves of love with all these downloads. Like, I mean, just crazy things. And what started that for me was the breakdown of this religious programming that I had been given. And paradoxically, what stood in the way of my religious experience was religion.
Yeah,
So it's
absolutely. No, no, we completely agree with you on that,
Yes.
because the people that are leading those churches aren't always there doing what we think that they're doing, you know.
yeah, yeah, it's this kind of disguise that comes in, and it has its good points, and but it also has its very destructive points too. And
Yes.
it's this system of control that, like all these religions, like, I look at the religion is like, it's like a lantern with a light in it, and every religion is focused on the lantern and forgets about the light in
Uh,
each lantern. That's the important part.
I
Like, everyone's
love the way
focused.
you put that. I
Everyone's
love the way
focused on
you
the lantern. Yeah, stop
yeah.
that. Like, the light is the only thing that matters. How people pray and get up to that is irrelevant. It's
It's
completely irrelevant.
independent. It's all our own journey. It's based
Mm-hmm.
on your relationship with the source or God or whatever you want to call it. Because to me, it's the same thing. To me,
Oh, it
like,
is. Yeah, no, there's
yeah,
a million words
there's a
for this
million words
energy.
for it, and they're all the religions and all of that. Like you said, it's the light is the focus. That's where you're supposed to be paying attention, and that light is within us.
Yep, yep. So that's where the religion has just lost it. And I was a Christian for a long time, and it helped me. And I come at it from two angles. So for quite a while, it helped me at 29, and I was horribly addicted to drugs. And so I went to rehab the first time, and I had no understanding about the spiritual aspect of things. And so I went to rehab, and it was just like, I just got to clean myself out. I'll spend 30 days, whatever. Like, once my body, I am suffering right now because I'm horribly addicted to opiates and stimulants and alcohol and just all these things. Just clean that out.
Methamphetamines.
And once that's out, I'll be fine. And so after 30 days, I was feeling better. I was like, okay, I'll be fine. And so I didn't have it, didn't do anything. And, about 60 days later, I relapsed. And of course, it's like, oh, I guess I don't know everything. So I went back the second time. And that's when I was like, all right, I've been humbled. I don't know everything. So tell me a little bit about, what's going to keep me sober, because I don't want to keep coming back here. So that's when kind of the AA and the Christianity came. I went to a faith-based rehab, and those two things really go hand in hand together. Essentially, AA is kind of disguised Christianity, which is why I created something a little bit different, because a lot of people go into AA and see the religion and just run away.
Run away, and
And
that's so scary.
there's some
And
aspects to it that just aren't true. Like, I mean, the first step is admitting you're powerless. Well,
well, I know, right?
let's
Thank
get out of
you.
here.
What the
Like,
fuck
get
kind of
out of
bullshit
here.
is
Yeah.
that? I am not powerless
That's
over my drug. My
that is
drug or
not.
my drug of choice or whatever, my addiction, I am not powerless. I'm the only one that has power over it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, like, and that's what kind of led me to the whole sorcery thing. But it's the Christianity aspect was it kept me going, and I was like, I realized that now I realize getting into Christianity was like moving into a giant mansion, metaphorical mansion. Okay, so this
Mhm.
mansion has 17 bedrooms and 19 bathrooms, and it's got a game room and a tennis court and a basketball court and a pool, and there's a movie theater there, and life is great inside the mansion. But after a while, inside this mansion, you're told you can't leave the mansion, and so now the mansion becomes a prison.
Yeah.
And so, by not leaving the mansion, I mean, you can't go explore other religions and other faiths, and that's all taboo and bad, and you're going to get exiled for that, because they tell you it's the zombie apocalypse out there. You can't go anywhere. You're going to die. So you have to
Mhm.
stay in the
That
mansion.
was absolutely one of the things that always turned me off and turned me away from religions, is that whole aspect, because I always went, just because they believe in something different doesn't mean that they're lost.
Oh yeah,
You know?
it's garbage. And the problem with the mansion also is that it's built on this cracked foundation of fear, judgment, and control. And so
Absolutely.
that's when I realized, like, so my mother, so for 6 years I was doing okay. I was not on the streets and I wasn't like struggling. So I thought I was doing great. Really, I was just living a really mediocre life. Like it was just a really mediocre life. But I wasn't on the streets and I was not struggling, so I thought I was having a great life, but it was extremely mediocre. And my mother was pronounced terminally ill, and that's when things started. The mansion started crumbling because my mother never went to church, didn't want anything to do with religion or Christianity or any of that. Any of that. So the programming from my religion is that she's going to hell. She is a heathen and she's headed for hell. So the entire year that she was passing away, her body's dwindling away from the cancer, her dimension, her mind is going. That's traumatic enough. But
Yeah.
the fact that I thought she was now eternally damned, I was an absolute wreck. So
Distraught.
what originally was supposed to help me through something like this made it 10 times, 100, 1,000 times worse because now I have this other program that's so this whole thing that it was just like, oh, this time in the mansion, all of a sudden the mansion started crumbling around me and it was just falling apart. And of course I went right back to drugs and alcohol.
Hmm.
The pastors couldn't help, no one. So at that point, that's when, after she passed, I really started exploring and questioning my beliefs. Like, I don't think this is true. I think this is I call bullshit. I do not believe my mother's in hell. Like
Yeah.
she had her issues. Okay. Like she had a lot of depression, anxiety issues. And she didn't understand the concept of love. I didn't get told I love, but she was always kind. She was just very unkind to herself. And
Hmm.
so like the idea that she's eternally, I just couldn't handle that. So
No, hell no.
I quit church, and that's when I started seeing a shaman instead, and that's when he opened my eyes to this meditation thing, questioning these beliefs that I held so closely to. Like, maybe these things aren't true. Have you thought about that? Like, maybe this is all bullshit. Like, just because there's the Bible, I know, is now full of truth and lies. It's full of
Yes.
divine wisdom
Yes.
and egregious bullshit. It's both. And it's so brilliantly written, right? Because it's like, and it's just like life. What are you going to focus on? Are you going to focus all on the dark lies, or are you going to focus on the divine wisdom? And like, that's what becomes your world.
Yeah.
It is truly an amazingly written book. But you have to go back, and everyone, it's just an all or nothing. It's either the Bible is complete crap, it is the end all of everything, and no one can see that it's both.
There's both.
Yeah,
Yes, I
it's
agree with
both.
you so much. There's so because there
Yeah.
is truth in there, but there's also things that are taken out of context because they've taken other books and they're hiding things from people. I personally know of other books that talk about other miracles that Jesus did, but the Bible doesn't talk about it. You know what
Well,
I
the
mean?
Bible's left a lot of stuff out. I mean,
Yeah,
the Gnostic texts, and
why doesn't
like,
the Bible
it's
speak of Jesus's actual first if he's Jesus? How come they didn't speak of his first? No, I found that in another book. I found that in the Quran, not in the Bible.
well,
And they
and if they ask yourself, if it's the story of God, why does it end? Are you
right?
saying the story of God is over? Because like it should just be
The
added to for
creator of all
in
is the
infinitely.
end.
It's like
Yeah.
this is it. This is the only story. Like this is, and these other texts have been found over the years, like the Nag Hammadi texts and things, and they've purposely kept it secret, left it out.
Hmm.
Like no, this changes the narrative, which is that of fear and control, and people actually can awaken themselves, and they are the power that would change the whole narrative. So it's completely left out. So it is. I like to say the sorcerer reads the Bible like it's like going into a cave, right? Because a cave can be pretty dark and scary, but there are very valuable gems to be found in this cave. So what you have to do is go in and whatever gives you the ick, like leave that. That's all the dirts and rock, and like you don't. That's not valuable at all. But you go in and you pick a gem that makes you feel, oh yeah, I like that. So you take the gem. So the sorcerer comes out with all the gems, but the zealot will come out with everything. And so now they have the gems, but they're also weighed down by this useless rocks and dirt, and it just does nothing but weigh you down. So go spelunking and mine for the gems.
Hey, that's funny because we've actually done
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
No joke.
that's
No, like in Nevada, there's all kinds of the mines and stuff, and we would go into the mines and go and get like because they're not after the clear quartz crystals and stuff, but and these mines have been shut down for years, so we can go in there and go get clear quartz crystals. I've got crystals all over my property. Like 1,000 years from now, they're going to excavate this property here in Texas and be like, "How did all these clear quartz crystal get here?"
yeah. That's how you that's how you read the Bible right there. That's how you do it. So yeah, it's yeah, and that's the thing too, is it's just really important people understand that there is the world is the world of both, and that's really important. That's one of the things that it's the message that carries through the book, is this idea of both and. Like, so things can be two things at once, and so it is the world of gray. And so if you start looking at things, because the mind doesn't really understand this world of gray, and it doesn't like that. It wants to put things in a box. Someone
Hmm.
is good or bad. The Bible is true or it's lies, and the truth lies in the middle. And so, is it science or religion? It's the truth is in the middle. It is both science and religion. It takes, that's what Sorcery does. It takes from the best of both worlds and leaves all the dogma and crap that isn't, the dogma of science. Of course, science is its own religion. Is that, there is nothing but anything we can prove here with our, with our scientific utensils. That if we cannot prove it, it does not exist. And
And that's
which
so not the case.
which again is crazy if you think about, radioactivity. The Geiger counter was invented in 1920. So just because like we didn't have a
Oh,
way to measure radioactivity doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So like
right?
that kind of thinking is get out of here. And
Obsolete.
religion, yeah, and religion of course is the other end, is just like we believe in everything without, and science doesn't. But we, in order to partake in our religion, you have to take everything with it, and you have to conform to the way we are. You have, Jews have their
Mm,
way of life, and Muslims have their way, and Christians, you have to conform to that. You can't come out. I never fit in. I was questioning the Bible. I cursed a lot. I had tattoos. I never fit in.
that's
So
us.
yeah, yeah.
Right?
So I didn't fit the form. And if you don't fit the form, you start to feel a little bit ostracized. So
Yep.
Mhm.
that is also the problem with
Especially if you
religion.
question anything. If you have any
Yeah.
kind of question or any kind of doubt, or you ask a question, me personally, I was like, okay, so in the Mormon book, it talks about women not being able to drink hot drinks. Well, this was written in the 1800s. Back then, the purpose wasn't because women, because of the hot drink part, it was just control. It was
Control.
literally control. It was, well, how come this hasn't been changed? Because tea has very good properties to it. I'm not going to stop drinking tea, and it's not going to break my covenant with my source because I'm
While they're drinking
drinking tea.
soda.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and
while
it's
they're
it's to
drinking
find
soda.
it's to find the sheep. So it's in there to see who's going to follow it, and whoever follows everything. Oh, these are the sheep we want, and pastors will say, oh, my flock and the sheep, and that's like they're proud of that. Like it's
Literally.
like come in and be a sheep. Being a sheep is not a good thing. You don't think for yourself. You ask. You need
Exactly.
guidance from something else to know what you're doing. Everyone talking. Hitler's the problem with the Holocaust. Well, Hitler could have just spewed all the hatred he wanted. It was the sheep that enabled him to do everything that he did. So, like
Absolutely.
sheep is being a sheep is a horror is not good. And that's one of the rungs is goats over sheep. And so I use the term, goat as in, first of all, greatest of all time.
Yeah.
And secondly, the animal itself is very interesting because it is not hurtable. It is not someone you can't tell a goat
They
what to
think
do.
for
It's gonna
themselves.
it's gonna
We
do its own thing.
understand.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Try
gonna do its
locking a
own thing.
goat up somewhere and watch how fast they get out. They
Yeah.
want out, they get out. And then you want to know what a goat will do? Will go run out and make some dog friends, some pig friends, and have its own little posse. That's what goats do.
Goats over sheep. Yeah. Yeah. So that's, and that's another thing I want to get out to be like, start thinking for yourself. Like sorcery is about, not bringing answers as much as it is questions. Like start questioning things. It's not about, changing minds. It's about opening minds. So
Exactly.
Absolutely.
it's just, yeah, it's start question. That's the biggest thing to healing too, is curiosity. It's curiosity about the world and the world around you, and like just that curiosity goes long, long ways.
I've
I
always been go ahead yourself.
well, just wanted to read this because the one thing I really like, while we're on the topic of it, is that you say, I understand I am a biological computer, and if I am not regularly questioning my thoughts and feelings before they become actions, I have been regulated to an organic robot. I love the way you put that because that's exactly what everybody comes the sheep, and
Mm-hmm.
And we're literally
I'm
walking
always
around
questioning.
organic robots.
Yeah, and nobody has questions anything. Nobody, why are they doing this to our food, or why are the animals, why are they doing this to the animals, or they're not questioning any of it. They're just going, okay, let's just go with it. And I literally question everything. I question myself 90% of the time. So I just don't know how people don't question things.
Because it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to question things and think that we're being led in a wrong direction. That's very uncomfortable. That's why people don't question the government and things that they're doing. It's like, oh, they must have our things.
No, no,
And that's
they're not
uncomfortable to,
there
to,
for
to think
us.
about that. That's very uncomfortable. So, like, and the whole idea of, so, I get into the kind of simulation theory and in the book, and that's the whole idea behind these role playing characters, as the kids say nowadays, right? The role playing characters in the simulation, they're just there to progress the story for the player character. So become a player character. Anyone can do it at any time, and the way to do it is to get in touch with your higher self, which is the character on the other side of the simulation. Which is, if you think about you as a human, your mind is the software, your body is the computer, but who you are is the person on the computer. So you are the observer of yourself. You are a loving awareness of who you are, and that is the higher self. And so once you're in contact with that, now you're in charge of your life. Now you're a player character, and you're no longer just this automatic robot and just doing things as they progress to do. If you've ever seen the movie Free Guy, that nails it. That whoever wrote that movie, if you haven't seen it, you got to see it.
What's the
It that,
name?
that Free Guy. It's
Free
Ryan
Guy.
Reynolds. It's hilarious, first of all, but it's
Oh
it's also
yes,
it's
I
yeah
watched it.
it's you gotta watch it, because it is
If it's
that
got
that's
Ryan Reynolds in it, it's got to be
yeah.
great.
Oh, it's hilarious. And he's in a video game, and he's becoming aware that he's in a video game. And so this whole process he goes through is
That's
is this
us.
awakening for other, like, whoever wrote that knows. They know the deal. And so, like,
Hmm.
it is his process of awakening, and he tries to tell the other RPCs around him, like, and he starts questioning things, and he starts becoming more aware, and it's just fabulously written. And that's it. That's what people can start doing. Like, just watch that movie and become,
Yeah, no,
just
I have
start
it written
asking
down. I have it
things.
written down.
Yeah.
This was like, wait a minute, what is it? Because I want to watch
Yep.
it. Because
I
that's
have to rewatch
literally
it.
it's
Deep.
literally us. There is so um a little bit about me is I was addicted to methamphetamines from the age of 12. And I'm coming up on my 2 years clean. But you want to know how I got there? I've always been a faith person, and I have faith. I have faith in source. You know what I mean? But I was always had the religion holding me down, and I judged myself so badly and so harshly.
Hmm.
And you want to know what's funny is you refer to tarot, and all my religious people out there, say it every time. Tarot is what freed me. Tarot, learning tarot,
Yeah.
getting into tarot, learning tarot is what freed me. Getting that
That's why they
curiosity.
don't want you to learn it. That's why they don't want you to learn
Exactly.
it. It has nothing to do with you going to hell. It has you to freeing
It
yourself.
has nothing. It is literally I got messages from it, and
Mm-hmm.
tarot
Yes.
guided me so hard, and I started doing my own readings and started doing my own little things. And I'm telling you, when I was guided on how to quit, I didn't do AA, I didn't do NA, I couldn't go to a center because every time I tried quitting, I would have seizures. I would have like 90 seizures. Like it was so bad. And I literally would just tap into that source that you're talking about, and I got told, do this. Okay, I'm doing that. I got directed, do this. Okay, I'm doing that. And then there was just thing after thing after thing after thing, and the way that you're talking, it was put differently, and it was literally a person that does readings that got me there. And I said in my mind, she said, do this, and I promise you'll get there. And I, in my mind, I said, okay, you know what, I'm going to throw my biggest battle that I've had. And in my mind, I said, I'm going to use this method to try to quit doing drugs. It didn't only just get me here. And she talks about the same stuff that you talk about. Like, it didn't only get me to quit doing drugs, but it got me to believe in myself. It got me to see the universe talking to me, like it got me to see the synchronicities. Constantly, I get made fun of because I'm always like, synchronicities.
They're wonderful. Yeah. Breadcrumbs from the universe. Yeah.
Yes, breadcrumbs from these confirmations. I got so many confirmations. But when I was blinded before, when I wasn't allowing myself to see those confirmations, I would just wish-wash them away. And then
They're
when
yeah. People brush off the coincidences, and
there's
you need to
no
start
such
embracing
thing.
the synchronicities. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no such thing as coincidence. That's why when we got on, I was like, no, you are here right now for a reason. You're here like on our channel right now for a reason. 100%. And in way
Agreed.
more, and in a personally, like God or source, universe, whatever, has put you here right now to hear. There's people getting messages, and I know it's going to even go even further. So thank you so much for all of this. I appreciate it.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, it's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just following the calling. I don't know where it's going to lead
Right?
or what it's so new. I mean, the book it's not even been out a year yet. So it's, I've got,
Oh, it's good.
just,
It's amazingly written. Like from what we read so far, it's just, I cannot wait to dive into it. I am
yeah.
beyond excited about diving into it, and I am beyond excited about pushing it for
Yeah, I want
sure.
to set you guys the audio too. So if you don't if reading gets boring, you can certainly listen to it too. But it's and it gets good. There's a lot of really, and it's funny. So it's not like a boring read.
It
It's very
absolutely is not
funny.
a boring read. It's put very, like, it is like your personality really shines through in it. I can tell you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and in a world of AI, you will know this was not written by a robot. You will know immediately, like there is just no way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was already enjoying. I was like, I can read this all day long. This is great.
Mm. Wait, what was
But
that? You kind of broke up there.
did I? I
Yeah.
absolutely love it.
Okay, thank you.
The way you
That's
the way you
awesome.
wrote it is amazing, and because sometimes it's really hard to capture your readers, but you know how to grab onto them and pull them in.
I was shooting for it's the society is messed up with their attention spans, the phones and everything. Like it's hard to keep people. So I wrote it for that in those people in mind, like younger people and younger guys too, because like younger guys are really struggling and they don't really get into the the whole spirituality thing is female, and a lot of it's older female, and so. And that's a shame because the spirituality is for humans, not
Humans.
just females.
Absolutely.
And
Well,
males
that's
need it
part of the
even
reason why
worse.
suicide rate in men is way high.
Yeah,
Is
yeah, and
because
it's pushing away the feminine side. there is no males or females on the other side. Source energy has nothing to do with males or females at all. So to embrace, the more femininity does not mean you lose masculinity. Like that's what, I want guys to understand, it's, you don't lose masculinity. Why I struggled so long was because I was in that toxic male of like, like I'm a male, females, that's a girl thing, screw that. And like emotions and feelings, I don't deal with that. And that's why I was suffering. So letting in the feminine side and talking about feelings and things like that, and it's completely changed who I am, and I'm much happier because of it. And I've lost no masculinity. My favorite movie is still Fight Club. I still yell at the TV when the Suns and Cardinals are losing. Like Wu-Tang Clan and Rage Against the Machine are still on constant loop in my phone. So I've lost no masculinity. There's no by embracing femininity. I haven't lost any masculinity. So it's important for especially young males to know that, like, embracing that side is critical for healing trauma and growth. I mean, the whole toxic male mindset is going to keep people stuck forever. And if you're the same person at 50 that you were at 20, you've wasted 30 years of your life. So and we have a lot of, especially males, that are just the exact same, that they're the exact same person that they were at 20 and they're 50 years old, and that is so sad to see. So and that's there's reasons for that. And so I really wrote the book with males in mind too, younger people and males that, I use some sports analogies in there that are, kind of interesting. I start the book off with my story in rehab with DMX, which is
which is really cool. Yeah,
which is quite an experience. It was quite an experience.
And DMX in my day was like they were the DMX. Come on.
Oh yeah. For I've been on like older people as experience. It's like if you were in rehab with Elvis, like it was like that kind of
that kind of
experience. He used to live
absolutely
here in Arizona.
When during our interview when you said something about that, I was like, oh hell yeah, being in rehab with DMX, like that's the coolest thing on earth.
That's right. That's how, and that's how I started. And I'm able to wind in the whole story and make it work with the whole overarching theme of sorcery and stuff like that. So it isn't just a story to throw in there. There's actually reason and meaning behind the story too. But it's also a very funny story, and I make it funny, and the whole thing of me being in rehab, and like it's very entertaining. But that's just the icebreaker I kind of use to get people's guards down and like let people know who I am. But yeah, it really is. It came from another. It's that field of information, right? Like it's everything that ever was or ever will be is in this field, this source energy field. Yes. And if you can find a way to tap into it, which is, which is what the book essentially is. It's a map or a blueprint to tap into this, and you can create things like, I was a C+ student at best, and so like reading this book, and like a C+ student wrote that, like so like anything can happen when you tap into this field, because you'll get straight.
I was going to say that C+ student was tapped into Source, and it was Source using that C+ student to get out there what needed to be out there is what happened. And
ancient wisdom,
and that's
filtered through me.
This kind of goes on more on the religious way of saying things, but it's you get qualified. Whoever's needed and is meant to be used gets qualified, and not everybody. How can I put it? I always say is God qualifies those who are called. And that's that's just what it is.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's so sort. I would say Source doesn't qualify the called. It doesn't call the qualified. It qualifies the called. That's what it is.
There you go. Thank you. Yep. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Well, at least we both got it out there.
Yeah. I knew what you were trying to say. Yeah.
So for those of you that listen,
yeah, don't worry about being qualified.
Completely understand there's that field around us that tap into, because I've always had an ability to kind of know what was there, and I could just fall back in and be able to tap in. But I've lost it. Life, the things around us, the distractions that we have in our lives tend to make us forget how to tap in, or makes us not remember to stay tapped in, or it takes us further away.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. No, it's pretty incredible. I look at it sometimes. It's like, I don't know how that happened, but I'm really stoked that it did. So, but yeah, and it can, and anyone, it's not, I'm not, I like to say a sorcerer knows that they're special, but not unique. So that's a big deal. So like
What do you
to
mean
know
by
that
that?
you,
Can you break that down a little bit more for me?
yeah, so it's knowing that you are something special and special made and incredible, but
But
also
we
that
all
you're not unique. That that person is created the same way too. So you have to
yeah.
know you're special, but not unique. So like
Hmm.
you are not, a lot of
You're
people
not the
like,
only one that's special. In other words,
yeah,
like
yeah,
everybody is
exactly.
special.
No, yeah, yeah. And there's like the
Everybody is
separation. It's
made
like, oh,
with
you
their
think you're
own.
special. It's like, yeah, I do, but I'm not unique.
Hmm.
So like, so that's the inclusion that yes, I am special, but I think you're special too. You need to
Hmm.
know you're special. And if you don't know you're special, then that's the problem. So yeah, it is. It's. I've seen a lot of people that suffer from what I call terminal uniqueness. It's kind of this like, I am different than you. I am not you. I am, you know, I am I am something completely different, which is not true. We are all one thing. I mean, we're all one thing. We're all made up of the same thing. Like, science really can't explain this whole thing.
Life.
Like it's that, yeah, it's because we're all made up of the same thing. These atoms and things. We're all made up of atoms. Now, how do the atoms that are Justin and the atoms that are this wall? How do the atoms know that it's a wall? And how do these atoms know that it's Justin? There's just no way to explain that. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense at all. And so my belief is that that this wall is here because I believe it's here, and I can't put my hand through it because I believe it's
Believe you
here,
can't.
which means that you actually can put your
Hmm.
hand through the wall, and I believe that that is possible. But I'm not there yet, and I don't know if I'll ever quite get there. I think that takes a lot of. There's just no way for me to not think that there's a wall here because I've been conditioned and programmed, but there's actually not a wall here. So,
Hmm.
but it is that kind of
But isn't that
understanding
the
that,
craziest thing on earth, though? Like to
yeah,
realize that, like, I'm got a desk sitting in front of me, but the only reason why there's a desk in front of me is because I say that there's a desk in front of me.
yeah, no,
Like,
no,
like,
and that's how it works. Yeah, it's very hard to wrap your mind around, but that is the world of the quantum. When the quantum realm, science wants to hold these in two different. Everything acts very differently on the realm of the quantum level and the Max Planck and his level. That's just the tiny. So things behave differently at this level. Whereas the classical is like what we kind of live in and we can see day to day. But really, they're the same thing. It just takes time for the level of the quantum to become the level of the big, and it just takes time. Whereas it's measurable at the level of the quantum. It's instant. Like the whole, you can shoot particles, and they can either become, when you're observing them, they're particles. When you're not observing them, they become waves. So, the whole thing of changing someone's reality is to take these waves of possibility and turn them into particles of reality by the act of observation. And observation is not done by the eyes, it's done by the mind. We don't actually
mhm,
see anything. So and science agrees with that now. Well, they didn't before, but they now agree. They're like, okay, the mind does see. It is not the eyes that actually see, the mind sees. So you see, and you just keep envisioning, and that's how this book came to be. That's how I'm keep envisioning my life to go, and it keeps happening. It's a slow process. It doesn't happen overnight at all. You have to keep going. But the more you sit there and envision and observe the life that you want, the more things the universe says, okay, this is what you want to happen, and it'll take things and it'll just arrange it to happen around you. It just takes time, and doing that, is kind of in meditation. You create this mind heart coherence, and that is what's wrong with the world today. Is people's minds and people's hearts are on two different frequencies. And so you bring those two things together, and now you've created this like beacon to the universe. And so this beacon goes out, and so you've created something amazing, and you're in this state of absolute bliss, and you're envisioning what you want to happen, whether that's healing, whether it's a car, whether it's a job, it's like whatever it is, you envision it to happen, and you just you have to keep it up though. because it's like an actual beacon. If you put on, if you're in a huge storm out in the sea, and you put on your rescue beacon, you need help. You need help. Well, they'll send out a helicopter, but it's going to take a few hours to get there, right? So if your beacon goes off, well, now you're just lost in the ocean. The helicopter, the beacon has to stay on until all the time goes by for the helicopter to get to you. The beacon has to stay on. So a lot of people the secret. I tried the secret in college and it didn't work because I stopped. I was like, this isn't working. Stopped after like a couple weeks. I was like, this isn't working. Forget it. Well, I lost my beacon, and so nothing happened. So you have to keep your beacon on, and that's when change can actually take place. If you constantly are doing it and you're constantly living it, you start becoming it because your mind is there, and it just starts forming around you, and it's incredible. But it is verifiable by quantum physics. It is the observer effect. It is taking waves of possibility, particles of reality by observation, and that's how it works.
I love the way you just explained that. Like I was just totally enthralled in what how you just I like literally I'm just like wow, like you explained that so wonderfully. By the way, again, here's another reason people get his book. Like
Yeah.
if you needed another reason, get it. If you haven't learned yet, get his book because I definitely I'm going to be probably doing the Audible because auto reading gets a little bit more difficult for me. But definitely, I am so excited. And Giselle, do you have to add anything?
Oh, I was just sitting there the whole time he was explaining that. I was like manifesting.
Yeah, but it is
It's
because
just
you got
like
to stay in this
manifest.
point. Well, from what I've learned is you've got to stay in that alignment in order for that beacon to go off, and that alignment you bring it to you by staying in alignment with that you bring it to you, and that's
You
what
draw
I
it in.
have learned is just when I start to allow the distractions that the world or the simulation keeps throwing at me, I go, okay, boom, my singing bowls, my chimes, my Palio Santos, my all my little things that I do, my crazy little chantings, whatever I need to do, I end up doing, and it just brings me right back into where I need to be. And I think your book is really going to help make it easier for me to be
It
able
will. There's
bring
there's some
it back.
tips in there how to get mind heart coherence. Remember, it is a manifestation. Okay, so it is a you tune into it. It's like those
Hmm.
old radios that you probably
Yeah,
remember. You get those old, so
you move the
you have
knob
to
just a
do
slight
the
little
new you
tiny
need the
bit.
knob, but so that's the mind heart coherence. So you move the knob, you got to get it on the right station, but then you have to adjust that old silver thing that was the what do you call those?
The
I forget what you even
antenna.
call them. Yeah, the antenna. There you go. So you have to adjust the knob and then move the antenna and then up, boom, right there. That's it. So you have to tune in to your manifestation, and so
Hmm.
it is that is the key. And I put in there how to do that. It's and how to create mind heart coherence and how to get in touch with your higher self. Training. There's training
Training.
that you
Yeah.
can to train from asking from your heart and speaking from your heart and getting in touch with your higher self, and then the voice will become louder and louder and louder, and now your inner critic has turned into a cheerleader. You've alchemized your critic into a cheerleader, and that is your higher self. And my cheerleader is always pulling for me. It's great. So instead of
I
all these
bet it's
negative
wonderful.
voices,
I
all
bet
these
it. I
negative
can't
voices,
wait. I
they're
can't
pulling
wait.
me. Yeah, and and there's discipline. It's just discipline and you have to do it over and over and over and over until you don't have to do it anymore.
Hmm.
It's just natural. And if you just think about discipline, it's not discipline, it's just delayed pleasure. So, delayed pleasure. I'm delaying my pleasure right now. And there's if you go through life delaying your pleasure, you're going to have a wonderful life, and you'll see the pleasure when it's like, oh, okay, I've delayed it long enough, it's here. And it's amazing, and it's way better than any instant gratification I could have ever had. Like the delayed pleasure is the best kind of pleasure.
That's the best way to put it is
Wow.
delayed pleasure instead of just waiting or whatever. It's just delayed pleasure.
Yeah, that
The
word
more
discipline.
you
It's
talk,
not.
the more I'm like, I just need to read this book.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, yep,
Yeah. My
it's all
husband's
in
sitting
there.
behind the computer going like this right now. Like, he's like, I need to read the book. you
Yeah,
know?
you guys will have to tell me what you think about it because yeah, I love hearing it.
Yeah,
We'll just have you come back
absolutely.
on.
I was gonna say, you know what? After we read the book, why don't we have you come back on and we can actually really discuss it?
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm totally game for that for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Yeah, I would love
Yeah,
that.
let's plan for that where we can really just really discuss it because I don't feel like I've been able to discuss this book enough with you. Like I'm
Yeah.
so I
Yeah,
know you
it's
said
impossible to get in an hour. It's just yeah, you can't get it all in an hour. That's for sure. So yeah, there's tons of stuff in there that we can talk. And you'll have to if you read it, you can highlight it, or if you just listen to it, write some notes, or like if you get stuff that's like really hits you, it's
yeah,
like, and
the
there will be
ahas.
because yeah, there will be. It
Yeah,
came from another dimension. I really can't take all I can
I
take credit for is
understand
just
what you
opening
talk
up to it.
about when you say it comes from a different dimension. I understand. I completely, totally, 100% understand and grasp exactly. I know what you're talking about on that because I've experienced it with myself. So I'm really like to get that extra little boost from somebody else that's like been through more than I have to help me get, I can't wait. I am so excited about it,
Great, yeah,
especially at
that's
this
awesome.
pivotal moment in my life because you said something about Big Bang, you know and there has been a big bang in my life within the past 3 days that I like I said, there's no such thing as coincidences, and I really feel that this book and you and has been put in front of me right now at this pivotal moment because I need it, in all
That's
honesty.
great. Yep. No, that's exactly what happened. And that's the Big Bang, just more proof that we're all one thing. We're all one thing, and then
Bec-
there's all this illusion
yeah.
of separation, but everything is one thing. And if we start seeing each other, like as me, and recognizing everyone in each other, we're going to have a much better. It is the problem is the materialist focus on separation. That's our problem as society. That is
Yeah,
our problem. So, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, we are all of the same materials. We are all of how can you be of anything other than the creator? Like
Yeah.
we
No.
there is only what the creator has created. So
Nope.
how can you be of anything other than what the creator has created or of the creator, you know?
Yep. Yep. All your cells are just little pieces of God. It's like a big fractal thing. It's just like you get down to the lowest it's all the same thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so excited to have you back on. And Giselle, was there any more that you wanted to add, or was there anything that you wanted to that you don't feel that we picked up on, or
Um, no, my brain, there was so much.
I know this is yeah. There's so much. Justin, was there anything more that you would like to add to this?
um no so I always forget to tell people about like so the book is on Amazon, or you can get it on
Yes. Yeah.
Audible.
Yeah.
Then you can go, there's a website that I made. It's called awakenthesorcerer.com, which is with a U, spelled with a U. But the book and audio are on there too. And then if you can't afford a book, I don't mind sending if you don't mind reading a PDF out there. If you really want to, I'll send you a free PDF if you just get my email, which is sorcerer13@gmail, and I will gladly send out. I've done that. So and
We'll make
then
sure that we have all of that in our footnotes and everything. We'll make
yes,
sure that there's links and all
cool.
that for you because this is a book that needs to be spread, and this is a message from source, you guys. This is a
Mhm.
message from source. This isn't a book. This is a message from source. Let's call it
It
what it
it
really is.
it definitely is. And so yeah, so I like to leave people with this little tidbit. So I was always told for the longest time, like, live life like it's your last day, right? Like live life like it's your last day. Like, oh, okay. Like, and for a while that kind of made sense, but for someone like me, when I really think about it, you know, like my last day, I think my shadow is going to take over. I would probably, I'm going to get up. I'm not going to do my yoga and meditation that I do every day. I'm not going to do, you know, the reading and stuff that's healthy for me. I'm probably going to end up at a bar, and I don't know. I might rob a pharmacy because who cares? You know, like it's my
It's
last
your
day on earth.
last
I'm
day.
just
Who cares?
who cares? So if you start living life like it's your first day, now you're looking towards, you're building something for your future, and you know you're also have that kind of childlike curiosity. It's just, imagine if you were just bleeped into this simulation. You were just bleeped in, all of a sudden you're here, you know, you're with no knowing of anything. Like how beautiful would that be? You know, like you've got curiosity, and like, you know, you see your first sunset. Like, I mean, how beautiful would life be if you just bleeped in and it's just your first day, and and how exciting would that be? So that whole idea, stop living life like it's your last day and start living life like it's your first, because things will change rather quickly if you start getting curious and observing the world for what it really is.
I love that, leaving that on that note, because that is the perfect note to leave it on. Uh,
Yes.
That is the
Yes.
perfect note to leave it on. For those of you that want to come onto the show, or want to make comments or anything, or if you want to share your story, you can reach us at 12 looking through THRU 34 the glass at gmail.com. You can reach out to us on our TikTok and our Facebook. Uh, Justin, this has been an amazing talk with you. Um, I source used the right person for sure. You know, of course, the source isn't going to mess it up, but you know, like definitely, I'm so excited to get and listen to this book and get back with you. We'll be reaching out to you when we're done. Well, that's for sure.
That's great. I'll come right back on. It's this is the funnest part of getting people to know people like you and getting out there. This is the funnest part. So absolutely.
Absolutely. You have a mission and you are doing a great job on your mission.
Well, thank you. We all have you're doing a great job on your mission too. Just keep it up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you guys all for looking into the glass.